Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 4 of March 2025. India's government has opposed Volkswagen's plea to annul a $1.4 billion tax bill, asserting it could lead to companies withholding information and delaying investigations. The case, involving alleged misclassification of car parts, threatens the automaker's operations in India. The court will hear the case shortly. Around 35 companies have shown interest in the second round of the PLI scheme for specialty steel, with an investment commitment of Rs 25,200 crore. The Ministry of Steel is in the process of selection and signing MOUs. The scheme has generated significant investments and exports in various key sectors. Indian automotive manufacturers are set to implement price hikes across vehicle portfolios from April 2025. Amid escalating input costs and regulatory pressures. Major players like Maruti Suzuki, Tata Motors, Hyundai, Honda Cars India, Kia and Mahindra have announced price increases ranging from 2 to 4%. As net profit margins from original equipment manufacturers have mostly remained flat in the last 9 months, without these price hikes, profit margins would come under considerable squeeze. The RBI has issued clarifications on the Financial Statements Presentation and Disclosures Directions 2021 based on queries from banks and the Indian Banks Association. These clarifications address disclosures in the notes to accounts to financial statements and instructions from the balance sheet compilation. The instructions apply to all commercial and cooperative banks for preparing financial statements for the financial year ending March 31, 2025 and onwards. SEBI has released a consultation paper on amendments to the SEBI ICDR Regulations 2018 and SEBI Share-Based Employee Benefits and Sweat Equity Regulations 2021. The objective is to streamline public issue requirements while clarifying existing employee stock options provisions. SEBI has proposed reviewing the minimum holding period for equity shares to be eligible for an offer for sale in public issues. Comments may be submitted by April 10, 2025. SEBI has modified the shareholding pattern disclosure norms under Master Circular dated November 11, 2024, which prescribes formats for the disclosure of holding of specified securities and shareholding patterns. The changes include disclosing non-disclosure undertaking and other encumbrances, clarifying that outstanding convertible securities include ESOPs, and adding a column for fully diluted shares. This shall be applicable from 30th June 2025. Mahindra is in discussions to acquire Sumitomo Corp's 44% stake in SML Isuzu, with the offer expected to value the company at around 20.26 billion rupees. Mahindra is considering offering the Japanese trading firm 1,400 rupees to 1,500 rupees per share. The Supreme Court has allowed the National Financial Reporting Authority to continue disciplinary actions against chartered accountants and audit firms, but barred issuance of final orders. This decision follows an appeal against Delhi High Court's concerns about NFRA structure and management of cases. The move leaves pending investigations in a state of uncertainty for many professionals. Despite the centre's push to simplify the goods and services tax structure by eliminating the 12% tax slab, the group of ministers on GST rate rationalization remains divided on the proposal. The lack of consensus has stalled progress on GST reform, making Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman's intervention crucial in the coming months. In its highest ever reduction in seller fees, e-commerce giant Amazon India has introduced zero referral charges on over 12 million products on its platform that are priced below Rs 300. The move is aimed at boosting seller growth on Amazon.in and supporting lakhs of small businesses across the country. The revised fees will come into effect from April 7th. Referral fees is a commission that sellers pay to Amazon for each product sold. The zero referral fees apply to more than 135 product categories on the platform. DGCA and top Indian airlines are at odds over a notice requiring detailed data on airfares from the last 2 years. Airlines are concerned about sharing sensitive information, proposing instead to offer broad data. The government affirms no plans to regulate airfares but seeks to strengthen tariff monitoring for better visibility. Banks have been treading with caution regarding foreign currency denominated deposits, despite the Reserve Bank of India offering more flexibility on overseas liability expansion as a way of boosting capital inflows. This is primarily because of two reasons. First, banks are increasingly sourcing funds from global markets at cheaper rates. Second, demand for foreign currency loans from companies remains static. So, there is not much upward movement in foreign currency non-resident bank deposit rates, although the central bank had raised the deposit rate ceiling at the last monetary policy announcement on December 6th by previous governor Shaktikanta Das. India has ordered Samsung to pay $601 million in back taxes and penalties for evading tariffs on telecom equipment imports. The company misclassified components, including remote radio heads, used in mobile towers to avoid taxes. The payment includes unpaid taxes and fines, and 7 executives face penalties. Akash Educational Services has approached the National Company Law Tribunal to investigate alleged discrepancies in the insolvency resolution proceedings of Baiju's parent company Think and Learn. The company also urged an investigation into the conduct of key parties involved. Several entities and professionals named as respondents in the petition have not responded yet. Oryx Corporation India's strategic investment of Rs 300 crore from its Japanese parent Oryx Corporation aims to bolster its leasing and financial services businesses. This capital infusion will support digital transformation, infrastructure enhancement, and green mobility initiatives, underlining Oryx's commitment to the growth and innovation of its operations in India. Quick commerce player Zepto, which is eyeing an IPO, is in the process of raising $200 million to $250 million through a secondary transaction. The move is to increase the shareholding of domestic investors before the company goes for a listing this year. The discussions are being led by Edelweiss Financial Services and existing investor Motilal Oswal Financial Services, among others. SEBI has notified amendments to the Master Circular for Mutual Funds dated June 27, 2024 to facilitate ease of doing business relating to the framework on alignment of interest of the designated employees of the AMC with the interest of the unit holders. As per the amended norms, every scheme must now disclose the compensation in aggregate mandatorily invested in units for the designated employees on the website of the stock exchanges. Earlier, this disclosure was made on the website of AMCs. SEBI has mandated that all registered intermediaries uploading ads on social media platform providers or SMPPs like Google and Meta verify their contact details by 30th April 2025. These SMPPs will thereafter carry out advertiser verification of SEBI registered intermediaries, after which intermediaries will be permitted to upload or publish advertisements on these platforms. All intermediaries interested in publishing advertisements are now advised to update their contact details on the SEBI portal. Kotak Alternate Asset Managers announced a Rs 1050 crore investment in Tirupati Medicare to aid its expansion, enabling a full exit from Afama Capital. Tirupati, a leading nutraceutical contract manufacturer, serves high-profile clients and plans significant domestic growth and export plans. The partnership aims to leverage Kotak's alts expertise for further inorganic growth opportunities. SEBI, in its 209th board meeting, approved a series of amendments. The key highlights include A. An increase in the FPI disclosure threshold to Rs 50,000 crore. B. A review of provisions related to the appointment of public interest directors, a cooling off period for KMPs and directors, and the appointment process for specific KMPs in MIIs. And C. The charging of advance fee by investment advisors and research analysts. The RBI has expanded the scope of priority sector lending certificates to include the weaker sections sub-target in addition to the existing targets for small and marginal farmers, the agriculture target, and the overall priority sector lending target. This move aims to strengthen credit flow to weaker sections by incentivizing banks to lend more to this category and trade priority sector lending certificates to meet their priority sector lending obligations. The Government of India has advised all branches of banks dealing with government receipts and payments to remain open for transactions on March 31, 2025 to account for all government transactions relating to receipts and payments in financial year 2024-25 itself. Accordingly, the RBI has directed currency chest holding banks to keep their currency chest operations open on March 31, 2025 as a normal working day. The Rajya Sabha has passed the Banking Laws Amendment Bill. The bill aims to improve governance in banks. It lets depositors have up to 4 nominees for their accounts. It also changes rules for bank directorships and reporting deadlines. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman moved the bill, which was earlier approved by the Lok Sabha. JSW Steel Limited has emerged as the world's most valuable steel company, surpassing industry giants like ArcelorMittal and Nucor Corp. The Indian steelmaker now boasts a market capitalization of $30.31 billion, outpacing its closest competitors by $91 million to $3 billion. JSW Steel's diverse product portfolio includes flat and long steel products serving industries such as automotive, construction, and consumer durables. Beyond its manufacturing expertise, the company has earned recognition for its workplace culture. The central government has directed all companies receiving goods or services from micro and small enterprises to submit a half-yearly return to the MCA if payments exceed 45 days from the acceptance or deemed acceptance date. The return must include 1. The outstanding payment amounts, and 2. Reasons for the delay. The Reserve Bank of India, under Section 35A of the Banking Regulation Act 1949, has issued a master direction consolidating and updating guidelines for regional rural banks. It outlines prudential norms for capital adequacy, risk management, and permissible transactions. The direction ensures all instructions are in one place, with modifications for clarity and compliance, and future activities will align with RBI regulations and guidelines. The National Stock Exchange's plan to come out with an initial public offering still hangs in the balance, as the Securities and Exchange Board of India has highlighted several deficiencies in its latest communication to the exchange. The regulator, in a comprehensive letter, has spelled out all the areas that the country's top bourse has to address before it is IPO ready. SEBI has given the bourse up to 24 months to address these issues before it can seek approval for its long-delayed maiden offering. Over the past 2 weeks, the insurance industry has witnessed some of the largest deals in the financial sector, with a cumulative deal value exceeding Rs 38,000 crore. The biggest among them is the Bajaj Group's acquisition of Alliance's stake in their 2 insurance joint ventures for Rs 24,180 crore. Additionally, Patanjali entered the insurance sector by acquiring a stake in Magma General Insurance from Adar Poonawalla. IndusInd International Holdings also completed its acquisition of Reliance Capital, which owns 2 insurers, Reliance Nippon Life Insurance and Reliance General Insurance. The government is considering collecting an amount equivalent to 2% of a worker's income from platform aggregators as contribution towards a proposed pension scheme for platform-based gig workers. All major platform aggregators such as Swiggy, Zomato, Uber and Blinkit, among others, are likely to contribute towards the pension of the gig workers that they employ. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India will conduct the CA final exams 3 times a year starting in 2025, aligning with the exam frequency for intermediate and foundation courses. This change, aimed at increasing flexibility for students, includes exams in January, May and September. The Information Systems Audit course assessment will also follow a thrice-a-year schedule. Uday Kotak, Asia's richest banker, warns of a significant deposit crunch threatening banks with margin erosion. Retail deposit growth is slow, pushing banks towards expensive bulk deposits. This situation leads to negative lending margins, especially with home loans. The challenge persists amid high term deposit rates, tighter liquidity, and RBI's policy rate cuts. Regulatory inspection reports for S.R. Bartley Boy, Volker Chandyok, and Deloitte Haskins and Sells have once again brought to light critical issues such as auditor independence, the provision of non-audit services to audit clients, deficiencies in quality control frameworks, and conflicts of interest, raising concerns about whether top audit firms are responding quickly enough to meet regulatory requirements. A key concern for the regulator, the National Financial Reporting Authority, has been that despite affiliations with global networks, each firm operating locally has not aligned its internal audit policies and procedures with Indian regulatory norms, particularly Sections 141 and 144 of the Companies Act and the ICAI Code of Ethics. Elon Musk has sold social media site X to his own XAI artificial intelligence company in a $33 billion all-stock deal. Both companies are privately held, which means they are not required to disclose their finances to the public. The move will unlock immense potential by blending XAI's advanced AI capability and expertise with X's massive reach. The deal values XAI at $80 billion and X at $33 billion. CBDT has notified a revised Form 3CD, effective from April 1, 2025, through the Income Tax 8th Amendment Rules 2025. The form introduces Clause 36B to disclose buyback receipts under Section 2, Subsection 22, Clause F. Further, clauses 28 and 29 have been removed, and clause 31 now requires reporting loan or deposit details along with their nature codes. The Income Tax Department has released the latest versions of Excel-based utilities and schemas for various income tax returns and audit report forms. These updates, aimed at ensuring seamless compliance and improved filing experience, covers ITR 1, ITR 2, ITR 3, Form 10B, Form 29B, and Form 29C. This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.